right, students, this is the 8.3 for the assignment on Aleks. I'm going to go through now. 12 questions. I don't think you'll have too much trouble with it. Again, if you're doing the rotations, maybe you wrote those down in your note card already, going from 90-degree clockwise, 180-degree, 270 clockwise. Have that out. Maybe that'll help you with some of the coordinates. A lot of moving when you do these questions. This is number 1 here. It says figure below has a point marked with a large dot. You've done ones like that before. They want you to first put the point where we started. So plot the original point right there. So the original point is at 4, 6. So I'll put 4, 6 in there. And now we're actually going to be moving this 270 degrees clockwise. So again, clockwise, obviously going to the right. What you have to do is I can go down here to this x-axis, and I'm going to move this 270 degrees. So obviously, every single time I go to here, that'd be where it's 90, and then I go to 180 there. So 270 would be there. Just make sure you're on top of that axis right there when you let go, which kind of, again, if you have a different mouse, maybe it would help better than your number pad. I let go. There it is. You can see I went 270 degrees clockwise. You see where it ends up. Now you put the point of the point there with the big dot, and that big dot is at a -6, 4. So I'll put -6 and 4. And if you look at what happens at a 270 degree clockwise, it goes from x, y to, if you have it written down on your sheet, it goes to the opposite of y, x. So the opposite of my y, instead of 6 is a -6, my x stays the same, so it's 4. I know I got that right. Number 2. Number 2, we're going to rotate 270 degrees again clockwise about the origin, then decide if each statement is true about rotating figures. Okay, so again, that big hand shows up. I'm going to go 270 degrees, so I just go 90, 180. It is easier if you grab from the farther out, a little bit easier than 270. There it is. Then just answer the questions. If two sides are parallel in the original figure, then those two sides are parallel in the final figure. Yes, we didn't change anything about the parallel sides. The final angle measures are the same. True, I didn't change any angle measures. The final side lengths are longer. That is false. That's only if we dilate it. We're not. We're just rotating. The original figure and the final figure are congruent. Yes, nothing changed, just the location of where it was changed. So they are congruent. Number 3. Draw the following triangle after a 90-degree clockwise rotation about the origin. I think the easiest way to do this one is to put the pencil marks on there, and I like to put the actual coordinates. So maybe it would help to even put some points on there. So if I put a point there, and a point there, let's just call this A, B, C. This will help a little bit. So my A right now is at a -1, -5. So I'm going to put that in there. My point B is at a +3, -3, or sorry, -2. And then point C is at a +5, -4. So 5, -4. Now, when I do a 90-degree clockwise rotation, that goes from X, Y, and it goes to what? Y opposite of X. So Y opposite of X. So that would make my A prime. I want my Y as it is. -5 would become my new X. And my value for my Y is the opposite of this. Opposite of a -1 is a +1. And then B prime, I went from 3, -2. Well, again, what am I changing to? My X value will become what the Y was. So this would be a -2. And my new Y will become the opposite of this, would be a -3. And then C prime, I go from 5, -4. Well, my Y right there would be my new X, -4. And my X value ends up being the opposite of that, so -5. Now, I'm going to grab the pencil and put those points on there, right? Well, you would if you could end up doing your thing. I'm just going to use my marker here. So A prime would be -5, 1. So I go -5, that is a positive 1, so negative 5, 1. This would be A prime. Now B prime would be negative 2 and then negative 3. So I go negative 2, negative 3 right there, B prime, and C prime would be negative 4, negative 5. So I go negative 4, negative 5 right there, C prime. And there would be my triangle. So you would want to put that on there with that pencil by clicking on the pencil and putting those points on there. And then you have to connect the dots. For me, if I take off my hand right there, all my work goes away. But you can click that little thing and just redo your pencil points and connect the dots. That'd be the easiest way to do that one. Number 4. Number 4, we have triangle X, Y, Z. I'm going to rotate, or it has been rotated 270-degree counterclockwise about the origin. The results would be the X prime, Y prime, Z prime is shown. They just want the new point. So what I would do on this one, up above here, let's write down what happens on a 270-degree counterclockwise. Now remember, 270-degree counterclockwise is the exact same thing as a 90-degree clockwise. And a 90-degree clockwise goes from X, Y to, I would end up getting what? The Y opposite of X. So Y opposite of X. So all I need is these points right there. Again, I'm going from a negative 1 or negative 8 to 1. My new X becomes my Y, which is a 1. And then my new Y is the opposite of what X was. So opposite of negative 8 is a positive 8. Now, Y, I end up doing the same thing, where this would be 7. Opposite of a negative 6 is a positive 6. Here, I end up getting a negative 3. That stays the same for the Y to my new X. And then this is the opposite, so a positive 2. Now, what happened? Well, what you're looking for is this whole thing right here. We want this down below. We went from X, Y to Y opposite of X. This one right here. I want Y opposite of X. So there, Y opposite of X. Number 5. You'll notice it starts over. It's the same 4 questions 3 times throughout. So you're moving it, point original, and then the final figure all the way through. They should all be the same. I think you guys will get this one, won't be too bad. Again, having that note card will really go a long ways helping you out. But good luck. Thank you.